My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Pisces. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general reading, your past, present, future. But as you can see, this week I also decided to show face again, so I'm just going to change the way I do my readings. But here I am again in the flesh, but sadly, no human. So, I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and then draw 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started on your reading. The general card is the Wheel of Fortune. Let's look at the first row, which is also your past. You get 9 of Wands, exhausted beyond belief, but not giving up. Death reversed. Oh goodness, one of the cards I pulled for the vampire who literally ended my mortality. And then you get the World reversed. Yeah, I mean, what I'm kind of getting here, at least from your past, so hopefully it's not resonating in current times or even in the future for that matter, is that, you were exhausted beyond belief, but you didn't want to give up, but you realized that you did have to sacrifice something, because the thing was is you had to let go of this death, or, let go of something, and it kind of had to, metaphorically die off. Hopefully nobody literally passed in your vicinity in that aspect. My 100% sincere condolences on so many levels and stuff, and I'm always here for personal readings if you need any. But yeah, it also caused you to not head out into this world as well. I'm getting that this setback probably was like, you're going down a highway and suddenly, one of your wheels, just decides to break down and stuff. So then you have to quickly move off towards, the emergency lane or something, or just try to get away from the traffic. And that's, the setback that you probably face, and it caused you to not head out into this world or see any kind of movement or development for that matter, at least in the past. Well, I mean, you could also have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Scorpio energy, your brother, sister sign, or a fixed sign of Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus for that matter as well. But something caused you to actually not head out into this world of stuff. I mean, hopefully. But anyway, let's continue on with current times. 7 of Wands, still having that fight here within you of wanting to protect something. Though you get the Chariot, Cancer energy reversed of actually maybe feeling a bit lost and directionless for that matter. But yeah, you get this sense of stability and groundedness. I mean, especially the stability of wanting to start balancing things on a good note with the Justice uprights. So what I actually saw what was taking place is, it's like, okay, you had to make a quick decision to actually let go of something. But here you're more or less just kind of trying to find, an alternative way to maybe even try to revive something that you had to let go of, or maybe you had to try to find an alternative way to deal with that sacrifice that took place in the past. But either way, I love how you were able to keep yourself grounded and just say, okay, it's like we've dealt with any kind of like setbacks, negative events for that matter, but that shouldn't be, causing us to go just, in a state of panic. I mean, in any way, if you're in a crisis mode in any way, never panic. Never start, splashing around, because otherwise, it's like a predator, will see you as an easy prey. Because what do predators do? They watch people, that are either in a panic mode because they're not focused. Once you're not focused, you're an easy prey, because, the predator can take advantage of you feeling lost, dazed, confused, directionless, but also not focused. And that's when the predator will strike, because you're in a vulnerable position. But that's kind of what I saw you avoiding. In the future, you do get the Temperance reverse, Sagittarius energy. Page of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy with the Page of Pentacles. Well, what I actually saw you doing, and especially since it's beautiful that you got 2 pages, is you're actually changing your fate, because the Wheel of Fortune is your general card for today. So the thing is about the Temperance reversed. It has 2 different meanings. On a positive note, it's finally wanting to take action and thinking nope, because normally with the Temperance upright, you're in a serene, at peace, balanced mindset, and you have no worries or cares in the world or any motivation or reason to take action. But since it came in reverse, it's also kind of like, well, saying, okay, we need to start doing something. We're in a very stable, grounded mindset, but, we still have to, keep on moving. We can't just be standing here doing nothing, right? But on a negative note, it's also just kind of feeling like you're restless. You feel kind of a bit insecure. You don't feel like you're in a grounded position in other ways. But that, sad but true, would be a necessary reason or necessary evil reason to actually keep moving. Because if you're in an environment or area, where you don't feel safe or secure in any way, you need to get out of it as quickly as possible, right? But that's kind of what I saw you doing, was you were mostly, heading out on this voyage, and you were heading out towards maybe an alternative financial endeavor or any kind of endeavor for that matter. But off to clarification we go. Nine of Wands, you get Emperor. Okay, Aries energy. So you can have Aries placements in other ways. It's interesting because you get Libra, you get Justice, and then you get, because what it's interesting about Libra and Aries is these are, two opposite signs. Okay. But what I see here is, you had this strength within you, this confidence, this authoritative mindset to think, okay, well, right now, this could have been the moment where you pretty much just tried to, will revive something. You tried to keep something going, but then eventually you realized you had to make this real big decision on having to let something go. But your authoritative side came to your, came to your mindset and said, okay, we're just going to have to do this. There's just no way around this. We're just going to have to do the sacrificial situation, and it's probably going to be very painful because you get death reversed. But sometimes you actually have to proceed with it for movement's sake, but also trying to salvage what you can still salvage in other ways. Because regarding the death reverse, you had to let go of something, and it resulted in poverty. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is quite a painful event that took place. Sacrifice. That's what I'm getting here, is you had to let go of something, and you pretty much, you had to experience. It's like, I don't know if there are any chess players out there. Sometimes the human and I, we play chess together. The thing is, his tactic sometimes is that he sacrifices his queen, but of course, I more or less can, will foresee what he's doing, of course. But the thing is sometimes when you sacrifice such an important piece as the queen of the entire chessboard, sometimes, it's very painful. But if you know that you can really, within a few moves or in the next move or 2 moves later, that you can, will do like a checkmate, then it was pretty much worth it. But this is pretty much a painful ending, like it's sacrificing your queen because you know that there's no way around it. So, you don't feel like heading out into this world, but you get this Ace of Pentacles. So what I kind of see here is, it's like, and this is, something, this could be an internal, trying to salvage what you could still salvage from the 5 of Pentacles, and maybe it's just only 1 pentacle. Hopefully not, because here's also just 1 pentacle as well. But what I mostly see here is this sacrifice is mostly, just, reminding you to, just to think, okay, how can you avoid, this for the future and stuff like that? How can you avoid making the same mistakes or any mistakes? Sad but true, usually the hardest mistakes are the most important mistakes in any way. My case, for example. Listen to your intuition and your instincts and your gut instinct for so many reasons. Why? If I would have listened to my own inner voice when the vampire came into my tarot shop, then I would have not, been turned into a vampire. Would I have eventually? I don't know. But why was I chosen out of my entire village area, my community, to be actually turned into a monster, for that matter? So the thing is the name of the game is to always, listen into, because the hardest decisions are the most important ones. Now, the most important decision or lesson that I've learned in that aspect is always listen to your own senses, your own intuition. If something really doesn't seem right, don't proceed with it. But sometimes the sacrifice is needed to salvage as much as you can to save yourself, whether it's anything. Let's say, that your house is metaphorically burning down. Run out of there as quickly as possible. Don't try to save your coffee machine. Of course, your pets and your children and your other relatives are important on so many levels. But don't think, oh goodness, I need to quickly save this and that because it has more value and stuff like that. No, your personal well-being and your health has 1,000 times more valued than any object for that matter in that situation, right? So, wow. Seven of Wands. Empress, you are highly motivated and ambitious to actually try to regain this new beginning and abundance. And that's what I like to see, is you're finally learning from your past. Fabulous. Formidable. You guys are very intelligent individuals to the point where I would never underestimate your intelligence in any way. So the thing is this is where you're finally, just thinking, okay, metaphorically speaking, your house burned down. But what do you have to do is, you have to try to, maybe find an alternative way, but you need to try to rebuild that and maybe try to, I don't know enough about insurance claims or any of those things, to be honest. So in other ways, I'm sure there are probably financial advisors, but always mind you of any person who comes across as being overly confident in themselves, because they usually have nothing really to offer. Just because you see this real big tough individual that says, yes, I have everything figured out, and then you say, like, what? And then they're like, oh, that's a long story. When you come across people that have to constantly be boasting about their qualities and stuff like that, that's usually somebody that hides behind a couple of qualities that they possess, with 1,000 times of insecurities. But anyway, well, you might feel directionless and you might feel lost because, they tried to, reclaim your abundance again in other ways. But you're putting in a lot of hard work and you feel burdened with the Ten of Wands. Makes sense, and it's a common moment that you're going to have to experience, sad but true. Is if you want to try to reclaim your metaphorical throne, your abundance, your home, whatever, what have you, your coffee machine for all I know, is that this is what I kind of saw you doing. As you might feel directionless, but as long as you keep at it and you put in all the hard work and stuff like that, then the outcome might be the same or might have equal or greater value in the end. But as long as you just kind of keep at it and don't give up, that's the name of the game for any kind of successful outcome. Justice, you get Scorpio energy with death. Ooh, one of the cards I pulled for the vampire. Okay. Yeah, this is where you're finally coming to terms with this rebirthing moment, and that's very important. When you pretty much just are working incredibly hard, you already got the Nine of Wands of feeling exhausted beyond belief, but now you're putting in a lot of hard work. You might feel somewhat burdened, but yet, as long as you keep at it, but here you're pretty much just having a wonderful rebirthing, rejuvenating moment, and since you're in a very balanced and calm mindset, then you're going to have to let it commence. There's no way around any kind of changes, because change happens behind our backs, before us, in our own lives, our own bodies. For a lot of humans, but for vampires' bodies, nothing changes in any way, because we just stay the same for eternity practically. Wow. The more I think about those types of things, the more I just think I should have actually just left that tarot shop. I'm so honored by all of your love and support, towards me as being a vampire for tarot and stuff like that. But yet, and the thing is that, it's like, I think I've mentioned this before, that a lot of humans, they might have regret and stuff like that, because the phrase of if only, they start with if only this, if only that, if only. If only I would have actually just ran out of the tarot shop or locked up before he even had a chance to step in, then I might have actually, but who knows, it's like, because, back in my time, it's like we weren't really allowed to marry for love. We married for opportunity, so, let's say, whether it was sharing fortune, land, status, stuff like that. But that's kind of, I might have ended up in a real miserable position. But that's why I do count my blessings in so many ways. But that's kind of what I saw you doing and doing as well. Temperance reversed. 10 of Swords, painful ending. The thing is, feeling uneasy about the future will be like a potential ending for that matter. Hopefully it's nothing like an actual ending in any way. But yeah, if you already feel kind of restless about any kind of potential painful ending, yes, the thing is we have no power, we have no control over the future in any way. Nobody does, not even us vampires. I don't know if there are vampires out there at all, if they are out there, but if there are ones who actually can foresee any events that take place, like in the future somewhere. But anyway, that's not one of my strengths or powers or senses in other ways. But I do see that you're kind of worried about the future of maybe potentially facing a painful ending as well. But this is also just an ending of a future chapter as well. So technically, we still have about like maybe 2 to 4 weeks left before the ending of our year cycle of 2024 to 2025. So maybe this is where you're finally going to be closing off that one chapter or book of your experience, life, and stuff like that. So that could also be like a painful ending coming up. Because this is you finally maybe starting the next chapter taking place in Virgo season, though technically we haven't come across. I mean, we do get the Empress, which is Virgo energy, so that could even be taking place the half time in August, towards September, stuff like that. But with the Page of Wands, you get Seven of Cups. Options and opportunities that you're going to be heading down towards. And this is what you could be also hoping, to start heading towards, because yes, you could be worried about a painful ending, but this is where you're finally changing your mindset to think, okay, we've had our fear moments, but let's try to, let's try to see a bit more optimism in the future as well. And that's kind of what I see you doing, is you're pretty much just saying, as long as we keep at it, then eventually we'll be able to experience more options, opportunities regarding the Seven of Cups as well. Because for the Page of Pentacles in the end, you get the High Priestess, your upper book of knowledge. So I think it's, this could have even been Libra, Scorpio, or Sagittarius for that moment, who also got the High Priestess in the future as well. And at first I was thinking, well, it's better to have it in the past, but then I corrected myself thinking it's good to have it in the future, because everything that you've actually accumulated, everything that you've learned, grown from, overcome, rebirthed, recovered from, and stuff like that, you could put that in your beautiful book of knowledge. And that's where you're pretty much also heading down towards any kind of new financial offerings, because you did suffer from probably a Five of Pentacles in the past, but now you're heading off towards a new beginning. And this is you in one of your beautiful cards. Water card, you can have a lot of Cancer or more Scorpios or Pisces energy for that matter as well. But this is where you're pretty much placing all of your beautiful memories, your moments, your experiences in this upper book of knowledge. Right here. Your special vampire card, Queen of Swords. More air of Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, but this is a really good card because it's an act of using your logical side to create this very beautiful plan and strategy. This is where you're pretty much just actually gathering all of your information, all of your experiences, and you're putting it all into the upper book of knowledge, because you have an amazing, excellent, intuitive plan that's going to be guiding you and supporting you and protecting and saving you for future times and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I see in your future. Wonderful. Because when we look at the oracle, that death will come mortal, finite, and fragile. I mean, I was just getting vampire vibes. That's why, I was talking about my experience. Yes, you see this drained heart and stuff, but if you look at these tiny little blood cells, there's still that bit of hope. And that's what I see you doing, is you're still trying to manage, coming to terms, with any unforeseen or any negative experience for that matter. And, you're going to be having a rebirthing moment. I mean, because that's what, the death card is all about, is rebirthing. It's actually, shedding off, your old skin so you can enter into a new phase and stuff like that. So I just see that you're just pretty much just having a rebirthing, rejuvenating. You're learning from the past. You're gaining new insights. You're going to be just compiling all of that into your upper book of knowledge of experience. And that's kind of what I get from this reading so far. Fabulous. Well, sad but true, I'm going to finish off at 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to think about the questions you want answered. The first one is no, with the Five of Swords reversed. The second is no, with the Two of Cups reversed. And sad but true, the third is no, with the King of Cups reversed as well. Well, my beautiful, amazing Pisces, I'm going to have to leave it at this, but thank you so much for joining me today. I love you guys incredibly. In a few days, I'm going back to love readings, so for now, I'm just doing general and love. If you want a personal reading from me, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel and post in the little discussion box below that you want a personal reading from me. Other than that, I love you guys incredibly. Best of luck on this beautiful, rejuvenating phase that you're going to be heading towards, and I love you guys incredibly.